Hello everyone, welcome live to 3YTV tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League here from Dover, Delaware. I'm Peter Short, and joining me in the booth here tonight is Steven Doziak. Steven, great to have you up here in the 3YTV booth tonight. It is the Monster Mile. Miles the Monster sits outside the racetrack, and I'll tell you what, this is one very, very quick 1 mile racetrack, concrete all the way around this racetrack, and it's a lot of fun. We're seeing a lot of drivers out there struggle here in practice. What are you expecting to see here tonight, Doziak?
The big thing I will see tonight is pit road, entry, and exit. Everybody knows Dover is very hard to get on a pit road, and the pit road speed is 35 miles an hour. A lot of positions will be gained and lost on pit road tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be something we'll keep our eyes on. Of course, tire wear at this racetrack is notoriously high, as we see the number 7 machine, Garrett Gleason, out there in qualifying. Big shout out to Mason Dixon Cornhole for being on board here tonight, the Mason Dixon Cornhole 150. And of course, it's another big night here, Stephen. It is the Chase cutoff race. That's right. We will figure out our Chase drivers after tonight. It's going to be a wild one. Kind of that short track vibe to round out the regular season.
Yeah, I think we got 5 real close competitors here for this last final Chase spot, and also we have the last chance qualifier that, you know, somebody else could punch their ticket as well.
Yeah, that is right. That's going to be next week at an undetermined racetrack. Well, it was undetermined. It's going to be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway next week. That's right. I was the one who got to pick that race. Looking forward to everyone going to Charlotte next weekend and trying to win their way into the championship. All the drivers who are not in the chase, of course, are going to be vying for that spot. Garrett Gleason here going to come to a halt here on the bottom side of the racetrack, just outside the top 10 right now. But that's going to be a really fun race. I'll tell you what, Steven, because going to Charlotte, there's going to be a lot on the line, 1.5-mile racetrack. It's unlike any other 1.5 we've been to. In fact, we haven't been to Charlotte Motor Speedway since race number 1 of the reboot of the Total Nonstop Racing League. So I'm really excited to go back to Charlotte. Of course, that was in the Grand National ARCA cars, if you will. Now we're in the B-class Grand National cars. So I'm really looking forward to that one. It should be a fun one next week, but we do have to figure out which of these drivers will make their way into the chase here tonight. It's going to be a fun one here as you get a look of Dover International Speedway. Bill Edwards, the number 50 machine, is out there on the racetrack. Of course, a champion here in the Total Nonstop Racing League in the Summer Super Trucks Championship. That, of course, is going to come back this summer for its 3rd season. And Bill here working his way around the racetrack. Hopefully we got Bill's family back home in the chat here tonight. And Tana Himmelman in the chat, Logan Skelton in the chat, Dirt Dogger 93 in the chat as well. Folks, what we're going to do, we don't have a graphic for the point standings, but what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and find those point standings for you. And we're going to post a link in the comments. I'm going to post a link right now. So if you are watching, you can click on that link that I just posted, and that will show you those point standings, which I think is really cool. You get to interact with that website. You get to go there. You get to click on the drivers' names. You get to see which one of these drivers have done, you know, how well they've done this year. You get to see Ben Izenga atop the points. James Sorello behind him. Both of those drivers already sitting on 3 wins this season. And I'll tell you what, last week, Doziak, unfortunately, we weren't here on 3YTV, had a little bit of life come up, but it was a really exciting race last week at Pocono. I think you were there. You able to tell us about last week's race?
Actually, I was not there. I had to miss the home race. I was on vacation in Myrtle Beach.
Okay, so you and I were both out. So Pocono happened, folks. That's what happened.
Yeah. And I'm out tonight. I guess next week in the last chance qualifier, I'll get back out on track with these guys.
Well, yeah, you'll have to get out there. Garrett will give you an excused absence from the race here tonight. I will make sure of it. So, Garrett, if you're watching this, I know you are. You always watch the VODs after the race. give this man an excused absence from tonight's race and make sure he's viable to get into that chase next week at Charlotte. But going to be a fun one. Now, qualifying here, wrapping up, just 14 seconds left, and it will be the top two in points in reverse order. Lorello leading Izenga to the pole here tonight. Mike Floppy Tellier there in third. And then we got the number 36 there of Ben Adams. And I'll tell you what, that number 36... assuming that's Mitchell Adams. My bad. Ben Adams is down there in ninth, but he's one of those drivers we'll be keeping an eye on as well. Ben Adams, that is, because he says this is his racetrack. But we'll see all of those cars go down there, start to grid here on the starting lineup. Gonna be a fun one here tonight. 150 miles around this track, and Dover's one of my favorite tracks in all of iRacing. But Steven, why didn't you take us through tonight's starting lineup?
Okay, on the pole we have James Lorello, followed by Ben Izenga. Row number 2, we got Mike Floppy Tellier and Mitchell Adams. Row number 3, Andrew Himmelman and Jason Gracias. Number 4, Chris Darwing and Spencer Tart. Row 5, Jason Freeman and Harrison Chandler.
And then on row number 6, I'll just take it from here. Ben Adams and Philip Scott rounding out your top 12. Like I said, Ben Adams is really excited for this race here tonight. Bill Edwards, Kyle Lewis on row number 7, 13th and 14th respectively. Hi to Bill's family back home. I haven't seen them in the chat here tonight just yet. Garrett Gleason, the league owner and administrator there in 15th. Tony Lucarelli alongside him, the number 41 machine. Tristan Maher, Paul Bilson, 17th and 18th. Row number 10, David Harvey, Vincent Valvano. We continue to go through the field here. Johnny Williams, the last driver to take time. Lupe Gonzalez there in the 22nd spot. Well, Doze, you're not out there in the racetrack. Excused absence for you here tonight. You're alongside me. Of course, Bob Giaquinto, he got called in to work. That's the reason why Bob, who usually sits alongside me on Monday nights, is not here. So for everyone in the chat, in fact, we got Bob in the chat now, believe it or not, saying definitely missing being up in the booth here tonight. Have fun out there tonight. Yeah, definitely. Bob, have fun at work. I'm saying that with as much emphasis as I can on the word fun. Hopefully you can have a little bit of fun. Colin Ullery, Dakota Knoll, 25th and 26th. Brian Rubel and Stephen Keckman, 27th and 28th. And I believe Jason Shu in the number 40 will be rounding out the field here tonight. Not sure if all those cars will be starting because here tonight we do have that outer race admin, the Brian Rubel in the in that number 88 machine, Doziak, making sure that every driver is on their best behavior here in this chase cutoff event.
Yes, and big shout out to Brian for stepping up. Especially here coming down to the wire, you want somebody here to patrol the race per se, just to make sure everything runs as smooth as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see all the cars headed down the back stretch right there and off into turn number 3. This racetrack races a lot like a roller coaster. You can kind of see how much the racetrack falls away there on entry into turn number 3, similar into turn number 1. And look how much it just kind of, I like to say, it jumps up out of the racetrack as you see the pace car heading onto pit road. It jumps up out of the racetrack coming off of turn number 4. Car has a tendency to get loose. It takes a little bit of time to get the rear tires underneath it. Green flag in the flagman's hand. And we're racing here 150 miles around the tonight's Dover International Speedway, the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150 here in the Thornton Graphix Cup Series. And the number 13 of Lorello already off to a good start. He's able to clear the number 17 of Izenga. They're coming out of turn number 2.
And you saw Lorello slide up, like you said in the pre-race, out of turn 2 here, and hopefully he doesn't hit the wall here in turn 4. But it looks like a first lap complete, clean and green.
Yeah, they head off into turn number 1 once again. This is the fastest mile racetrack in the world, at least ones that have corners, that is, as you look out back of Izenga, the back of Lorello to the front of Izenga, getting kind of caught up there between the two teammates there, the S2R machines up at the front. But look at that number 97 sitting in third. That is Mike Floppy Tellier, and I'll tell you what, Steven, he needs a good run here tonight in that number 97 machine, just because he wants to stay in that top 5 to get into the chase. He's tied on points with Andrew Himmelman here tonight. Himmelman there running in 5th right now, but Tallier v. Himmelman is going to be something we're going to be keeping our eyes on for the entirety of the night. Oh, and connection issues on the 97. There he is. He finally pops back. That was a little bit of a scare there early on.
Yeah, and the big thing here will be the stage break at completion of lap 30. It'll be interesting to see where this 97 and that 6 machine pan out at the completion of lap 30.
Yeah, there is Andrew Himmelman in his number 6 Sim Shots Chevy Camaro right in front of the number 78. A little bit of a new look this week on Spencer Tart's machine. You see him running right back there. Here's Spencer's number 78. Got Anthony's lock service, I believe, on that 78 Toyota Supra as he heads down the front stretch. But these laps, as you can tell, folks, really starting to click away. But let's go on board here with the number 78 of Spencer Tart as he looks at the back of that Sim Shots number 6 machine. Just watch how the car jumps down into the corner. You can really see, you can almost see that suspension start to load up once you get into the corner. And now watch this as it hops out. You can see that perfectly there off the back of the number 6 of Andrew Himmelman, how the suspension here really has to do a lot of work. It has to load up in the middle of the corners and then kind of hop up out of the groove. And Steven, of course, you were out here in practice a little while ago practicing one of these cars. What does it feel like from the driver's perspective?
Yeah, you gain a lot of speed going into corner entry, and to get that car settled down to the bottom, it takes some skill. And here you see Spencer sliding up the track. Chris Darling in the number 70 slides up underneath him. Kind of reminds me of iRacing Super Speedway, the corner entry and exit here.
Yeah, and our turn 2 cam has already been knocked off its pedestal, and unfortunately, we're not going to get a great look at turn number 2. There's the turn number 4 camera, as you can see all the cars racing on by. But let's see if we can catch our eyes onto a little bit of a battle. There's the number 9 machine of Ben Adams, qualified in the 11th position, now on the back of Jason Gracias, the reigning Thornton Graphix Grand National Series champion right there. A little bit of a new look on that number 1 machine. Really great looking hot rod. And how about Harrison Chandler in the 103 machine, the Autism Speaks Chevy Camaro? That is also a fantastic looking hot rod here tonight. And for a great cause on the hood of that race car as he blasts his way onto the back stretch, holding his own right now in the 10th position. You can kind of see started 10th, running 10th right now. In fact, we're not seeing a whole lot of movers in the field here tonight. Vincent Valvano, the number 38 machine, so far the biggest mover of the race, back there in 17th. There he is, picked up just 3 spots from the start of tonight's race.
Yeah, this track is very hard to pass on. You have to hope somebody gets a little too deep in the corner and washes up, and hopefully you could dive underneath them and complete the pass coming out of turns 2 or 4 without, brushing up the wall like Vinny Valvano almost just did.
Yeah, of course, you're watching your right front here at Dover is pretty darn important. I know I've been in quite a few races. We ride on board with your race leader, James Lorello. I've been in quite a few races here where that wall just has a tendency to come out and jump out at you and take off your right front. Caution flag is out, however. First caution flag of the night. Let's see if we can figure out what is going on out there on the racetrack. I do believe it might be the number 21 machine of Johnny Williams. And got loose on the backstretch. Came right down across the racetrack, right into Jason Shue's path. The AC Delco number 40, nowhere to go there. We'll get another look at that one. This racetrack is famous. Williams there getting high in the middle of the corner. Was able to stay off the wall, then hit the wall again, got loose. You see Shue trying to do everything he can to get out of the way. But like I said, this racetrack has a tendency to become a little bit of a pinball alley on the backstretch, and we saw that right there.
Yeah, Jason did everything he could to slow down and get out of the way, but he just ran out of real estate, and lo and behold, right into Johnny Williams.
Yeah, you see Jason, just wrong place, wrong time for the number 40 machine. We'll get one more ride on board with that race car. Here we go, off into the corner, on board with Jason Shue. You can see, in fact, at this point, you can't even see the number 21. There is Williams, and Still no Johnny Williams. He goes down there on the bottom side of the racetrack, and there's a race car. Oh, man. Oh, Kegman there in the 22 machine also got a piece of it. Let's see if we can dial up what happened to the 22 here. Kegman. Oh, yeah, he got into the outside wall, and that shot him down into the inside wall. Speaking of that pinball alley back there, now the number 22 machine has quite a bit of damage, so that's a tough break for him. Now, the big question is how many of these leaders elected to come down pit road? Well, the answer is the top 16 drivers all electing to stay out here. Steven, I gotta say, just trying to keep that track position and also thinking about, the possibility of the tire sets here tonight.
Yeah, I didn't get a quite good look at the tire sets, but with the stage break and 15 laps, and we didn't see very many movers, I say it's safe to stay out and, play for these stage playoff points.
Yeah, we got the 77 here, David Harvey. He's coming off pit road. Looks like he might have had some right front damage. The 22, of course, of Kegman. We've seen him have some damage back there. And Lupe Gonzalez, the number 35 machine. The number 7, Garrett Gleason, also electing to come down pit road. I think Colin Ullery. There is the West Virginia Mountaineers Ford Mustang, and that car has a heck of a lot of damage. Front end, right side, rear end. Not sure what happened to Ullery there in the first couple of laps. We didn't see what happened to the West Virginia Mountaineers machine, but he's definitely going to be facing an uphill battle here in the final 135 laps.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happened to Colin. We just saw that incident between Johnny and Jason. Hopefully Colin gets everything back on track and can climb his way up to the front.
Yeah, hopefully that is the case. Base car lights continue to stay on here in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150. If you're just now joining us, welcome to the stream. Bob Giaquinto saying 2 weeks in a row, a tough break for the number 40. Blew up last week, now this. Yeah, that is a definite tough break for that race car. In fact, Jason Shu currently being scored 1 lap down in the AC Delco Chevrolet, and you can see without a front end, you don't often race modifieds here at Dover International Speedway, but that's what Jason Shu will be doing for the entirety of the remainder of the race. We'll see if maybe they can find a bumper on pit road or something, slap it on, but you don't often see that in iRacing with that amount of damage, but pace car lights are still on. And it looks like we're starting to double them up for a restart here in about a lap or so from now, but liking what I'm seeing out there.
Yeah, that was a 14-lap green flag run. I hope that is the last caution of the night, but being the short track of 1 mile, I don't think we're done with cautions tonight, Peter.
Yeah, more than likely we'll have some more caution flags because when things go wrong here at Dover, they go wrong in a hurry. You saw that there under that first caution flag. We do still have the stage break that will be coming up at lap number 30, and we will award points. Mike Floppy Tellier there in the number 97 DC Shoes machine. He wants to pick up as many of those points as he can as he tries to make his way into the chase on points. There was a link in the chat a little while ago to the point standings. We'll take a look at those here. Mike Tellier tied on points coming into tonight with Andrew Himmelman. Jason Freeman just 10 points back. Dave Harvey 11 points behind Himmelman and Tellier. So it is a red-hot battle for the last spot here in the Thornton Graphix chase for the Grand National Series Championship. But who's going to win tonight's Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150? Powers down, green flag back in the air. James Arello trying to manage that wheel spin there. That outside groove not getting a good start. Ben Izenga going to slide back into the third position, and looks like Lorello is going to pull the 97 of Tellier right there with him. That's what Tellier wants to see.
Yes, and on that restart, it does look like Andrew Himmelman fell back a few spots as well. So coming up to the stage break, it'll be interesting, the battle between these two.
Yeah, so that 97 of Tellier, now I'm sure he's going to do everything he can to try and get around Lorello here in the final 11 laps before the one and only stage break that we're going to have here tonight. Meanwhile, some good side-by-side racing back here. Harrison Chandler in the 103 machine racing with Ben Adams. There was almost contact there going off into turn number 3. Adams shoots up the racetrack to avoid it. Adams like there just clipped the wall in the number 9 machine. Hopefully that's not a whole lot of damage on the butt kicker Simshots Chevy Camaro. Working their way down onto the backstretch. Not a whole lot of side-by-side action. There is some side-by-side action as I think Colin Ullery goes to work on the number 7 machine. Made quick use of the 4 fresh tires. He just got on that race car. Gets up another spot. But now up at the front, here is the battle for the race lead. Just now 10 laps away from that stage break. Lorello getting close to that outside wall, just flirting with it. There's Doziak.
Yeah, these top 3 seem to have broke away from the pack just a little bit. But getting back to that outside wall, we have the Darlington stripe. Do we start making it the Dover dent on that right side?
That sounds pretty good. I'm sure Miles the Monster would be nice and happy with that as well because, of course, the big statue of Miles the Monster just sitting outside this 1 mile concrete oval always has a car in his hand. Yes, that's right. They actually lift a show car up into the hand of Miles the Monster every year here at Dover International Speedway. I'm sure he's got one in his hand right here and wants another one picking up that Dover dent as they head down the backstretch. A really cool racetrack this. I was hearing some people talk about this racetrack. You see Tellier really on the back bumper of the number 13 now. That this is a really fun place to go. Not only do you have racing, there's also a casino here. There's lots of places to go have fun around this racetrack. They've really made it a really cool entertainment spot. And unlike some of the other NASCAR tracks that are in the middle of nowhere, thinking Talladega, Rockingham, even North Wilkesboro is in the middle of the boonies. This racetrack's in a really cool spot. And if you're ever up in the northeast portion of the United States, a really cool track to check out and go to and really experience this track. One of the coolest things about this racetrack is the fact that there is actually, on the backstretch, a really, really cool place to sit. You're watching right here. This bridge right here, folks, you can actually sit in that bridge. There are seats up in there, and you can actually watch the race cars go underneath you. And you see number 62 of Ullery back there, all by his lonesome, and kind of struggling with all that damage. But I'd love to go here to Dover. I've never been, but I've heard so many good things about this racetrack.
Yeah, I drive by it going down to the beach right off the highway. You could see the outside. Never been inside, but from the way the grandstands are shaped, it looks like you could see the whole track, almost like a Bristol, whereas the bigger tracks, you only see a portion. It looks here that you could see, quite a ways around this mile racetrack.
Yeah, in fact, this is from high atop the main grandstand on the front stretch, and you can see you got a pretty good look. Here comes Lorello down the front stretch. There's Tellier right behind him. We're just now 3 laps away from the stage break here tonight, the one and only points-paying stage break here in Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. Lorello wants to win stage number 1, but Tellier all over his back bumper, just hounding him, getting a little bit lower there through turns number 3 and 4 onto the front stretch now, just 2 laps ago. Can Tellier do anything with him?
Yeah, he's right there. Is he just going to ride it out and take the second place stage points, or is he going to try and force the issue and get the win? With no fast repairs, I'm pretty sure he's going to play it conservative here. As I say this, he dives to the inside.
You just had to open your mouth. Here comes Mike Tellier. He wants those bonus points from winning stage number 1. Lorello going to try and hold tough on the outside. It was Lorello that led that lap. I think it will be at the conclusion of this lap when we will see the caution flag, but Tellier's got the position. Lorello trying to do an over-under. Man, that was tight there going through turn number 1 and 2, but it looks like Tellier's going to hold on to it. Coming through turn number 3 and 4, Jason Shue, the lap car, will stay on the lead lap here before the caution flag flies, but Mike Floppy Tellier maximizes the points in stage number 1. Just waiting to see that caution flag fly. There it is. Caution flag is out for the one and only stage break, and things going good right now for Mike Tellier.
Yeah, I mean that was a great last 5 laps of this race. He was on the back bumper of Lorello. He saw the opportunity and he just took advantage of it.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be good for Mike Floppy Tellier. We do have Ryder Leangle joining us in the chat here tonight, rooting on the number 99 machine. Let's see if we can check in on Philip Scott. Of course, all of us here at 3Y TV want to send good vibes to that number 99 machine of Philip Scott. We'll be traveling over the next few days to go compete in the American Ninja Warrior competition. Hopefully he can qualify for the national competition. He did so last year. Or it wasn't, well, not sure if it was last year, but at least a couple seasons ago on the show. So good luck there, Philip, as a little bit of connection issues. Pops back up there on the racetrack, but it looks like everyone's coming down pit lane here.
Yeah, this early in the race, you have to take advantage of the stage break. Come in, get some 4 fresh tires, some gas, because everybody knows these green flag pit stops. It's going to play havoc on this field, and I hope we get that tonight.
RC Plains in the chat saying it was 2 years ago that Philip was on the show. Really, really cool. Really, really awesome to say that Philip Scott has been on the show before and qualified. As you see all those cars down and away. Looks like Tellier might have just beaten Lorello to the line. We did have a couple drivers stay out. Chris Darling, Bill Edwards both staying out here under this caution flag. So they will pick up that extra track position. But, I'm really impressed with how this race is going. Kind of that green flag feel again there under that last run. I know we've talked about how difficult this racetrack is. Maybe we just haven't gotten to that point where the tires really start to loosen up.
Yeah, and I think everybody's playing a little bit cautious with these chase drivers. You're going to see some hard racing, but clean. I'd say the gloves will come off at lap 100. With 50 laps to go, I think it's all bets are off, and you're going to see one final push to get these playoff points.
Well, let's see if we can dial up one of these drivers. Let's see if we can talk to... let's make sure the pace car light's turned on. That's thing number one. I'm trying to see if I can find Mike Tellier, see if I can get his opinion, but I'm not seeing Tellier at all anywhere on the Discord here, so we'll let him be. And those pace car lights continue to turn on, so let's see if we can pick up Bill Edwards. I'm sure he can say hi to his mom back at home. Bill Edwards, Peter Short, 3Y TV booth. Get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, don't do what I did last night in that race, that GT3 race, and Bennett on lap number 5. But you know what, Bill? You're out there right now. You're in second. You pitted under the last caution flag. Got some extra fuel. Older tires, but I think everyone else behind you are pretty much on the same set you are. I don't think they really elected to pit and change tires just yet. What are you thinking here for this restart?
I'm just trying something a little different. I know when the yellow come out, I figured we can make it. So figured I'd go in and get fuel there, gain some, and then go out and save a bunch of tire and come out and do some track position. So that's kind of the strategy. See if it works. I don't know if it's going to. I scraped the wall. I'm hoping it's just a little paint scratch, but we'll see if it causes any problems.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a little scratch on the right-hand side of the car. It is noticeable, but not significantly from us up here in the 3Y TV booth. But, hey, you're about to go back green. You concerned about wheel spin on this restart?
I hope not. I'm glad I'm up here, not in the back worried about wheel spin.
All right, well, Bill, we'll let you get back to it. Best of luck here, and we'll see if your strategy pays off for you.
Sounds good. Gotta say hi to my mom before I go, just in case I don't make it to the end.
Oh, there you go, folks. Always great to say hi to Bill's mom back at home. Always watching Bill here on 3Y TV. Got to give a big shout out to everyone watching here tonight. We just hit 800 subscribers. We're already up to 811. We just hit 800 a week ago. And only 11 subscribers in a week. Doesn't sound like a lot. It's not really, but we're closing in on that magic 1,000 subscribers here on the 3Y TV. And make sure to hit a like the like button here tonight for tonight's Total Nonstop Racing. Thornton Graphix Grand National Series, the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150 pace car headed down pit road. Green flag is in the flag man's hand, and we're about to get set to go racing for the second restart of the night. Oh, a couple of cars there bouncing off the wall on the restart, including, I think, the Mason-Dixon Cornhole number 20 machine of Jason Freeman. I'm wondering if that wheel spin did catch out a couple of drivers.
Yeah, it looked like that outside line, again, had a slower start. As you saw James Lorello get right to the back bumper of Darling and take second place away from Bill Edwards.
Caution flag is out. David Harvey, the number 77 machine, has gone around on the back stretch. We'll figure out and see what went down here. Racing with the number 9 machine of Ben Adams. Jumps up out of the corner, and everything's fine at this point. And, oh, just contact right there. Ben Adams and the 9 machine also making heavy contact with the inside wall. 2-car collision, and oh, was that the 41 machine? Lucarelli might have got a piece of it as well. But we are back under caution here.
Yeah, cautions breed cautions, and the last caution was just a stage break, so hopefully this is the end of it.
Yeah, we'll get this one from high atop the blimp cam just to see if we can figure out what happened. Well, let's bring it down to 3 wide TV super slow motion. Yeah, it looks like Harvey might have been coming down the racetrack just a little bit. That's one of those things where sometimes difficult to gauge where the other cars are around you, and unfortunately for Harvey, who was kind of had an outside shot of making the Thornton Graphix chase, looks like he's going to have to wait for next week's last chance qualifier at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 1.5 mile version of Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's, oh man, Harvey, a couple of other drivers there, a little bit of collateral damage on Garrett Gleason's number 7 Sirius machine. We'll go see what happened here to the number 7 machine. Let's just go on board and ride with Garrett Gleason here. As you watch this all happen, this is that pinball effect we were talking about a little while, Stephen, that you don't see anything right here, and all of a sudden cars start coming back up the racetrack.
Yeah, and he just had nowhere to go. Harvey came up the racetrack, as you see in front of him. I believe that was Lucarelli also got into the outside wall.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Lucarelli or the 35 of Lupe Gonzalez. I think it might have been Lupe. We'll see if we can figure out what happened here. Here's a turn 3 cam, and oh, yep, that's Lupe Gonzalez. Tough break for Lupe. That was a heavy hit, probably heavier than Garrett Gleason's hit here, as we are back under caution here tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. Looks like Lupe Gonzalez has taken it behind the wall. Will be, I believe, the third car to take it behind the wall. Dakota Knoll, Johnny Williams, and Lupe Gonzalez all out here of the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150 as we close in on the 1/3 race distance. 38 laps down here tonight, Doze. Been some good racing. Hopefully we can get some more green flag action in.
Yeah, I think once everybody gets single filed out here, maybe 5-6 laps in, we should have another long green flag run. At least that's what we're hoping for. It'll be interesting to see this outside line restart. The last 2 restarts from the outside seem to have had wheel spin.
Yeah, Stephen Kegman in the Angry Orchard Hard Cider 22 Chevy Camaro is on pit road getting some damage repaired. Not sure how long Stephen will stay in his pit box because the pace car lights have been extinguished here at Dover. Getting set to go back green here will be lap number 40. 39 laps in the rear when the green flag falls once again. We're up to 21 viewers in the chat. We really thank you for coming in here. Tactical asking what's going on. Well, racing is going on. Well, maybe not right now because caution flag is still technically in the air, but the green flag is about to fall here once again as we get set to go back to the action here at the 1 mile Dover International Speedway. Miles the Monster says green, 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 and Ben Izenga, the 17 machine, they're going below the apron down there into the black stuff down there. There's no grip at all on that portion of the racetrack.
Well, he managed to save it, and we have a little internet trouble there from Mike's Floppy Tellier, but it's a good restart. Everybody seems to get away clean. As we see the front 20 or so file out single file.
Yeah, everyone starting to get single file now around the racetrack, and that's what kind of led to that good running that we had a little while ago. There's Ben Adams with the damage on that race car. David Harvey right in front of him. Those two cars involved in that little scuffle just a couple laps ago. We'll see if they are up to pace or not. Garrett Gleason there in the Sirius Chevy Camaro back behind him. He's also appears to potentially be a little bit damaged and off the pace. Jason Shue back behind him. The good news is Jason Shue was able to get back onto the MaxGraphics.co Lucky Dog Award lead lap. So that's good news for him, but trying to get as much damage fixed as possible. Back there, Kyle Lewis racing with a couple of the other cars. Meanwhile, look at, I believe that is Mitchell Adams back there, the number 36 machine, side by side with Philip Scott in the number 99.
Yeah, and you got Tristan Maher joining the party with Philip Scott as well. I will say the race leader, Chris Darling, before in the Discord chat, said this is his favorite track. So it is no surprise to see him out front.
Yeah, to be honest with you guys back at home, this is my favorite. That's not how you spell cornhole. This is my favorite oval as well. I really love this 1 mile racetrack. Like I said earlier, it races like a roller coaster as you jump up out of these corners. You head down the front stretch, you just feel like you're going fast at this joint because the walls are so close to you, the track is so narrow, you're in close quarters with all the other cars around you. It's just a lot of fun here at Dover, Delaware.
It's fun for somebody who could drive this track. Peter, you're one of them. The guys up front are one of them. For me, on the other hand, I'm usually in the back at this track. Something about that right front and me just do not get along on these short tracks.
Yeah, this is definitely a racetrack where you do need to save tire because the concrete surface here tends to be very, very abrasive. And you're also carrying so much speed. You mentioned that your right front wears out here. It does indeed. You kind of have to learn how to manage this racetrack. There's two ways to overdrive this racetrack. You can actually destroy the right front by driving into the corner too far. You can also destroy the right rear by backing up your corner a little bit too much and trying to get that car to pitch its way into the corner. Just think of it like if you were drifting your way into the corner. You don't drift, of course, with these cars, but you can kind of get the car just a little bit free to get that angle of rotation into the corner. That will burn up your right rear tire. So this is a racetrack where you really have to manage your stuff for every single lap. And you can see right now Ben Izenga looks like he's managed his stuff nice and neatly because he's just going to drop to the inside of the number 13 of Lorello, who was your pole sitter at the night. And now your current points leader of the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series is up into second here in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150.
Darling, with that battle going on between Lorello and Izinga, Darling seemed to pull out a little bit ahead of these guys. Let's see if he's holding on to his tires well and if he can keep this up for the next 100 laps, say.
Yeah, you see that gap back to Ben Izinga that last time by. Darling just under a tenth of a second faster than the number 17, so we'll continue to see if that grows or not. Meanwhile, let's look a little bit further back in the pack. Tristan Maher in the number 98 machine, all by his lonesome in that Roush Performance machine number 98, but not having the night that Tristan Maher was looking for just yet. Paul Bilson, the number 51 machine, also back there. Butt kicker on the left and right sides of that Chevrolet. He's back in the 15th position, about 2 seconds behind the number 98. Then you got Tony Lucarelli, a couple of these cars back here with some pretty decent damage. Lucarelli, Ben Adams there in 17th. Back behind them, Kyle Lewis, Vincent Valvano there, 19th position in the number 38 machine. Then you have, of course, David Harvey, Garrett Gleason back there as well. Jason Shue in the number 40. And then Stephen Kegman is currently the last car on the lead lap in the Angry Orchard Chevy Camaro. Was a very long pit stop for that number 22 last time on pit road, trying to get some of that damage repaired. But whoa, Andrew Hillman, something's happened to Lorello here. Lorello fallen off the face of the planet. He was second a couple laps ago. He's now trying to be passed for the 6th position by the number 6 machine of Himmelman himself, as Lorello again appears to have clipped the wall on entry into 3.
Yeah, did that battle at the stage break with Mike Floppy Tellier use up some of his tires? It's interesting. He's not one to usually fall through the field, so something must be wrong with that S2R machine.
And of course, as these laps click away, the impending possibility of these drivers coming to pit road continues to go up. Just looking right now, Chris Darling has been out there on the racetrack for every single lap. That's right, Chris Darling is the only driver in the field yet to come down pit road. So we'll have to see when Darling drops down to see his pit crew, but he's pulling away right now up to about 0.8 of a second lead over Spencer Tart, who's got around Ben Izenga. So we missed that pass for a second. Things starting to change pretty rapidly here. And oh, here comes Chris Darling. Darling, the number 70 machine on pit road.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him, see if he hits his pit box this time. As anyone who watches 3 Wide knows, Chris Darling is famous for missing his pit stall.
Yeah, he's still a good ways away from his pit stall. This is a very long pit lane, a very slow pit lane as well. You can see just how slow Chris Darling is going out there relative to some of those other drivers that are still at pace. And I think he's watching the stream because he gingerly made it into his pit box there, but he doesn't want to ruin another race. He's ruined too many races, has Chris Darling on pit road here on the channel, so I don't blame him for just kind of creeping it into his pit box, hitting his marks, and now that will give the race lead to Spencer Tart right now. Ben Izenga in second, but look who's in third. That's your reigning Thornton Graphix Grand National Series champion of Jason Gracias, but now Spencer Tart being challenged for the race lead by Ben Izenga.
Yeah, that's twice Ben Izenga has made a pass on that very inside line. Once before on James Lorello. I am watching this left side battle between Tellier and Himmelman. As anyone knows, that is the last playoff spot at stake.
Yeah, and looks like the number 97 machine of Mike Floppy Tellier, that's the driver he's racing for that spot. The 97 just going to drop below the number 78 of Spencer Tart. So it's not been a good lap for Tart. He went from the race lead just 2 or 3 laps ago, now back into 4th. And Andrew Himmelman's trying to close in the Sim Shots number 6 Chevy Camaro. But the big question is going to be now the number 70 machine of Chris Darling. He's out there on those fresh tires here, folks. He's come down to make his one and only pit stop he's made so far. Lap times. You can see the lap times there at the top of your screen. You will see that your leaders last time by ran a 24.6. Well, you compare that right now to the number 70 machine of Chris Darling. He's running 23.8. So it's, 0.6 of a second here around Dover. It does add up, especially when this racetrack is only a mile in length. You can kind of see him disappearing off into the distance as Mike Floppy Tellier now under fire from Spencer Tart, and that's going to allow Andrew Himmelman into mix for this battle. They're tight. The 6 and the 97 almost making contact there through turn number 3 and 4. You can tell that Tellier did not want to give up position, but look at that a little bit further back. Mitchell Adams almost making contact with the 20 of Jason Freeman.
Yeah, and right there, Colin Olery, he got involved in a little incident earlier. He's right up inside the top 10 as well, battling it out.
Yeah, we'll go back and watch this. Let's slow it down. They are extremely tight there, the number 6 and the number 97. But now let's watch back the number 36 machine of Mitchell Adams coming out of the corner. There's Jason Freeman in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 20. Yeah, just getting a little bit of a kiss from that number 20 is Mitchell Adams there. Great job saving it as we'll go back live. You can see Mitchell there now running in the 8th position as, Tellier is going to drop to the inside of the racetrack. Tellier now coming down pit road. He's had enough of his Goodyear tires, and looks like the number 13 machine, James Orello, he's also been really struggling after what was a blinding start to the race here tonight. He's also going to come down to his pit crew. So Chris Darling, of course, first car to make his first green flag round of pit stops, but now we have these other drivers joining him.
Yeah, we're going to see here if that undercut worked by Chris Darling. Right now, he has scored the first car lap down. If the caution did come out, he would get that free pass with the fresher tires. So let's see how this green flag cycles through.
And now we do have a battle for what is now the race lead. Ben Izenga is getting caught by Jason Gracias. And folks, I've been racing with Jason Gracias for a heck of a long time, and I know that Gracias is very, very good at this racetrack in particular. I know he really enjoys coming to this 1 mile racetrack and the way it races for the same reasons I enjoy it, as he's going to get to the inside of Izenga. Oh, Tellier, they're just coming off pit road. They're going to make it 3 wide there briefly. Izenga holds on at least for now, but Gracias there trying to hug that inside line. There is a little bit of grip down there. Here comes Tellier. Tellier says, you know what, guys? I really can't wait around. I'm racing to try and make my way into the Thornton Graphix chase, and now he's kind of boxed in behind these two, battling for the race lead.
Yeah, here he goes on the inside of Izenga. I would assume he will get by, and Izenga dives down in the pit road.
Yeah, Izenga coming down now, trying to get down to that pit road speed before those 2 yellow cones. Mitchell Adams in the 36 machine also going to be joining him on pit road, so definitely pit road getting active. Looks like Bill Edwards back there, who had fallen his way kind of back through the field. He's also going to join him. So we'll see how this all sorts out, but great to see some green flag pit stops at Dover. You don't often see that in the iRacing service. Where's Chris Darling? There's Darling in the yellow number 70 machine. He has some right front damage, however. That's new. Hadn't seen that right front damage on that Toyota Supra before that camera shot, as he's catching up to the back of the number 38 of Vincent Valvano, who might have just had an excursion with the wall as well coming out of turn number 4. So these race cars looks like they're getting a little bit tricky to drive.
Yeah, and we go...
Oh, the 38 machine! Vincent Valvano, how was that not an accident? Jeez.
Yeah, that was a great save by Vinny Valvano, keeping it green. Even better for the guys who were on pit road. That could have messed up a lot of people's races.
Yeah, you see that 38 machine getting kind of turned up into the wall, just having to come in together there with the 51 of Bilson as the number 70 machine went on by. We're back live here as Jason Gracias closing in on the halfway mark here in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150. Tonight's chase cutoff race for the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. I say it's the chase cutoff race. We also have the last chance qualifier next week at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Is Gracias coming to pit road? No, he is not. I thought he might have been backing up the corner a little bit to get down there, but a lot of the drivers have come down pit road. I'm only seeing about 12 drivers, I think. So that's about half the field that's left waiting. And oh, there's a spin. There's a spin. Car around. What was that? What car had go? Oh, it's Mike Floppy Tellier. It's one of our chase hopefuls. The 97's gone around. Caution flag is out, but that is not good for the number 97 machine.
No, there's not. And from that previous cam, it looked like Philip Scott was on pit road at the time of that caution.
Oh, the 51 of Bilson clipped the wall, got down into the 97 of Tellier, and the 97 went around. He is not going to be a happy camper here tonight in that DC Shoes number 97 machine. We'll get one more look at this one. We'll slow it down here. Tries to go 3 wide. This is almost exactly what happened just a couple laps ago. Bilson and the number 38 of Vincent Valvano, but unfortunately this time, kind of the innocent bystander, the 97 of Tellier, who was trying to race his way into the chase on points, goes around, and that is some terrible, terrible contact with the wall. And you can see that car is pretty much toast.
Yeah, that's a frustrating night for Mike. He got the stage win. He was up on points. It sucks to see his night end like this.
Well, the good news is Mike Tellier is very good at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I know that. I've seen him race really well there before. So, he'll have a fighting shot next week, and will be the last chance qualifier. Now, stranger things have happened. Mike's going to be crossing his fingers and hoping that Andrew Himmelman's the next retirement in this race, because if that happens, Mike's stage win could come out being very beneficial. Himmelman's not out of the woods just yet. He does need to finish this race still.
Yes, and like you said, with this pinball effect, I mean, one small fender bender could cause 4 or 5 people's nights to end here.
And there is Andrew Himmelman in the number 6 machine. Now, he is being scored all the way down in 18th. He was one of those drivers who had come down to pit a little while ago. Now, under this caution, things have really changed here, folks, because a lot of the drivers who were fast, like Chris Darling, Spencer Tart, James Lorello, all those drivers, they've already made a pit stop. They had already made a pit stop under green flag conditions. Meanwhile, under this caution, now we had the number 1 of Jason Gracias. There he is. He is technically your race leader. You see all those cars in front of him? They're going to take the wave around. But Gracias has fresh tires on that number 1 machine. Compare that with James Lorello. Lorello has 10-lap-old tires. Chris Darling has 18-lap-old tires. They're going to... Those cars who have 18-lap-old tires, 10-lap-old tires here, Steven, they're going to really need a caution to fall their way so they can get back on the same cycle as Jason Gracias. We've seen tires be fairly important here tonight, and now Gracias, out of your lead pack, he has the best tires. He should be able to pull away here.
Would think he would be able to pull away. On the iRacing server, anything is possible. I do believe Jason is from Delaware, so this is a home race, and it is good to see him out in front.
Yeah, that number 1 machine, good-looking ride as well. Relatively new paint scheme on his machine. Harrison Chandler in the 103 machine coming down pit road. The Autism Speaks Chevy Camaro. That's a little bit of an interesting call to come down. Maybe thinking about pit strategy, or fuel strategy, I should say, on that 103 machine. Jason Shue also joining him on pit road. I mean, you might as well come down and take on a little bit extra fuel if you're the last car on the lead lap. Why not? You have nothing to lose. Just to top it off with fuel, he comes into the box and down and away. So just picking up an extra half gallon of fuel or whatever, and down and away once again.
Yeah, green-white checkered, that could put him, in a top 10 position if he has to stay out. I mean, every little bit of fuel helps.
Yeah, now we'll see. The pace car lights are off, but as you can see, the back half of the field isn't lined up yet. We'll see if the iRacing officials elect to extend this caution flag by, a lap or so. Just the back half of the field, as you can see, that is not lined up in the slightest right now. So we'll just keep our eyes on that pace car. Is the pace car going to come down pit road? Well, we'll wait. Yes, it does come down pit road. So a little bit of a messy restart here upcoming for some of the cars up in the back. Maybe they can get things lined up. Stephen Kegman in the 22 machine going to drop down to the bottom side of the racetrack, but the green flag is back in the air, and Jason Gracias, great restart there. Well, how about Colin Ullery here, folks? Involved in an accident early on. We didn't exactly get to see that here on the broadcast. Something happened to that number 62, but he's up there in second, right in front of Vincent Valvano, who was turned up into the outside wall not too long ago.
And Paul Dawson, David Harvey. I believe David Harvey is still vying for that last playoff spot. I mean, top 5, this could be major implications with Mike Floppy Tellier out.
Yeah, and we say that. Andrew Himmelman, the number 6 machine, he did not get back on the lead lap. He's still being scored 1 lap. No contact! The 39 machine of Vincent Valvano's gone around on the backstretch. That will bring out a call. Andrew Himmelman's gone around too, and he gets launched up into the air by his stepdad, Ben Adams, and caution flag is back in the air.
Wow. That's all you can say to that is just wow.
Yeah, that is about all you can say to that. Let's see if we can figure out what happened up here. And we're going to put it in slow-mo because there's so much to take in here. The 62 got it to the right rear of the 38, maybe a little bit of net code. 38 goes down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Mitchell Adams getting the luck of the gods there, able to slide on through the number 38, but then something must have happened further up, and yes, it did. Oh my goodness, the 50 of Bill Edwards involved, looks like Kyle Lewis involved, and somehow the 36 machine of Mitchell Adams able to get away from that. But oh yeah, there was contact there between the 54 of Kyle Lewis and the 6 machine, and it was on from there. And then watch the number 6 machine getting pole vaulted up into the air. We'll get one more look at this. Full speed. Let's keep our eyes on Andrew Himmelman. The 54 gets into the outside wall, comes down, gets into Himmelman, and kablamo. And I think that engine, is that engine still running on the number 6 machine? I don't know. Is his night done? Did we? No, it looks like he's able to get it back rolling. Well, maybe. I don't know. Yes, he will keep it rolling, but my oh my. Caution flag back in the air.
Yeah, I know Tana Himmelman is watching in the chat. Please watch out so Andrew does not retaliate with Ben in the household. We need to keep both of those racing here tonight.
So this is how everything's shaking out right now. Bill Edwards in the number 50 machine, he has fallen 2 laps down in 22nd. Vincent Valvano, the number 38 machine, he's still sitting in his pit box right there, looking a little bit more like a modified. Andrew Himmelman in the number 6, not sure if he's come down pit road. Looks like he's coming down pit road right now. He hasn't come down pit road yet, so he's about to find out how much damage he has on the number 6 Chevy Camaro. But this race here tonight, it's usually not much of a wild card, but with the accidents we've seen, look at Ben Izenga down there, your points leader. That Toyota Supra looks very much worse for wear. Didn't exactly see what happened to Izenga, but he definitely got a good chunk of that accident as well. This race looking like a little bit of a wild card right now, and things looking really good for the number 77 machine of David Harvey. Where is he? There he is. He's on the outside looking in, trying to pick up as many points as possible. We kind of rode off his night early.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go pull up the point standings here because maybe Jason Freeman, he was quite a ways back. I'm going to, do some research here and see what these points are looking like.
Yeah, so we had Himmelman and Tellier. Both of those drivers were locked on 337 points entering the night. Jason Freeman in the number 20, he was 10 points behind Himmelman and Tellier. Then you have David Harvey, who was 11 points behind Andrew Himmelman and Mike Floppy Tellier. So it's looking like maybe the 20 or the 77 could luck their way into the chase here tonight. It's going to be a fun one to see how it all shakes out here in the final 70 laps or so, because the door has been blown wide open.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even count out Philip Scott. He entered the night at 310 points, so that's 27 points back, and I believe Philip Scott is still running out there.
And you have to also remember, winning you're in. That is one of the ways to qualify for the chase here, is to win a race. So if we get a driver who hasn't won a race here tonight, I mean, we've seen the number 70 here tonight, Christopher Darling, he does have a win to his name. But, some of the other drivers who have a lot of starts, like David Harvey, who hasn't got a win, or Philip Scott, who doesn't have a win, or DeMarco Starks, who I don't believe DeMarco is racing here tonight. But some of these drivers who don't have a win, they could win to make their way into the chase and knock out Himmelman and Tellier. And with these accidents, well, anything can happen.
Well, what about Jason Gracias? He's sitting third in points with no win on his belt. Anything could happen here.
That is true. Pace car heads down pit road. Green flag back in the flagman's hand. We're about to go back to green flag action. As you can see, folks, the field has been whittled once again. Green flag back in the air. Jason Gracias in the number 1 machine is going to lead us down to the green flag. Andrew Himmelman going to fall 3 laps down as they are right now. We head onto the backstretch. Oh, contact! Is that the 51 machine of Bilson? It is Bilson in the inside wall, spinning down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. No caution just yet. He rolls back up onto the racing surface. Let's see what happened here. Caution flag finally does wave, I believe, for that number 51 machine. But let's see if we can see what happened here with a little bit of a different look. Looks like Bilson might have clipped the wall, came down the racetrack, and bam, into the inside wall. Luckily, not being catapulted back up the racetrack this time.
Yeah, that's, I think, the 3rd or 4th incident we saw somebody get a Dover dent and jolt back across the track and wound up clipping somebody or be clipped.
Yeah, and I think this is what brought out the caution, because Bill Edwards there in the number 50 was coming by at speed while the number 51 was off the pace. So I think if the number 50, Bill Edwards, wasn't there, I think we would have stayed green flag, since most of the spinning that Bilson did was down there on the flat portion of the racetrack. But caution flag back in the air here tonight. Let's see if we can bring up the race summary down there, bottom left-hand corner of your screen. 6 cautions here tonight for 20 laps. Fastest lap currently held by James Abrello. 5 lead changes here in the first 83. Make that 84 laps as Gracias there just goes across the stripe on the front stretch. Been a really interesting one so far, and I'm curious to know what twists and turns we have left in store. Looks like the number 20 machine right there, Jason Freeman, is getting back on the lead lap. He was 1 lap down, and all things considered here, we're down to only 11 cars on the lead lap. In fact, with Freeman getting that lap back, he will be the 11th placed car on the lead lap, and we'll be starting tail end of the longest line for this next restart coming up. But good news for your Jason Freeman fans. It doesn't look like he really has a scratch on that race car.
No, and come to think of it, you're better off maybe just hanging out at the back and letting these guys beat each other up front and just surviving. Because the way this race is going, all you got to do is keep a clean car and you might be in there.
And look who's returned to the racetrack. Mike Floppy Tellier, the 97 machine, who was hard in the inside wall not too long ago. A lengthy stay on pit road, being scored 13 laps down in the DC Shoes Toyota Supra. You can't really tell it's a Toyota Supra at this point, as it doesn't have a front bumper. But Tellier's back out there trying to get those points he might need to stay in front of Andrew Himmelman. Right now out on the racetrack, Himmelman's being scored in 19th. In fact, let's check in with Himmelman. There he is. Now drops 6 laps down. Tellier being scored 13 laps down. So might we see a battle of 2 cars that are heavily damaged? Which one's going to get out there on the racetrack first? And hold on. I mean, there's so many questions here to answer here tonight. Hopefully you in the chat are enjoying it. Bob Giaquinto a little while ago saying this changes everything. Yes, it does. Things continuing to change very rapidly here at Dover International Speedway, Dover, Delaware, for tonight's Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150. We thank you for joining us. What have you been thinking of the race so far? We have 3 likes. Let's see if we can get a goal of, let's see if we can say 11 here tonight. Let's see if we can hit 11 likes in tonight's Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150. So hit that like button if you're watching right now. We really do appreciate it because it does add a little bit of exposure to the series. I know that YouTube algorithm does factor likes into account. So if you are wanting to say thank you to the league sponsors here in the Total Nonstop Racing League, like Dunn Raceway Park, like Thornton Graphix, like Mason-Dixon Cornhole, make sure you hit that like button. You're a big supporter of the series and able to make this happen right here on 3 Wide TV each and every week. As you see, the number 78 machine is Spencer Tart. He's looking for a good restart. He's up there once again for this next restart doze, and we've seen a lot of pace out of that number 78 machine, and now he's going to be starting alongside Gracias.
Yeah, the one thing Gracias has going for him is those fresher tires and the amount of caution since his last pit stop. I'd still say the odds are in his favor, but like we said, it's all about surviving now.
Oh, whoa. Speaking of surviving, Garrett Gleason is not doing the surviving thing very well there on the backstretch. Not sure what happened there to that race car, but let's see. Oh, he's trying to catch up to the field here and catches him at the wrong spot, gets on the brake, and it just steps out from him. And heavy contact with the inside wall. I gotta say, good thing there that Garrett didn't run into the back of him, but I think that is going to extend the caution flag. No, it won't. It will not extend the caution flag. Green flag is back in the air. Usually iRacing, when that happens, will extend the caution flag an extra lap, but we're back green here, and Gracias with a pretty good jump. We're watching this battle a little bit further back here as Harrison Chandler, the 103 Autism Speaks Chevrolet, is holding on to the 3rd spot, side by side between Harvey and Lorello. That's the battle for 5th.
Yeah, Lorello tucks in underneath Harvey. Looks like everybody got away clean. We're single file. Philip Scott with a little connection issue as well.
Yeah, and Philip Scott there kind of blinking in and out. I think Izenga in the 17 going to give him a little bit extra room there on entry into turn number 1. And looks like Scott's still staying down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. But up at the front, here comes the number 78 machine. Spencer Tart digging on the inside. Almost clipping the apron. You don't want to do that when you're being pinched down so much. Rossi's going to hold on to the race lead as we're now on lap number 89. Keep our eyes also on the number 70 of Chris Darling. He's trying to work his way back up here tonight. He still has only made one pit stop and much older tires than some of the cars that are around him. But here comes the number 78, Spencer Tart, battling for the race lead with Gracias side by side out of turn number 4.
Darling was able to complete the pass, and I would look here in the next 10 laps to see Darling challenge for the lead on either Gracias or Tart.
Yeah, Darling now up into 3rd. My big question is Harrison Chandler here in that race car. I'm curious to know if he might be thinking, folks, about saving a little bit of fuel. Because remember, Doze, he came down pit road a little while back, topped off with fuel. He hasn't topped off with fuel since. That kind of leads me to believe that he might be trying to save a little bit of fuel here to make it to the end of the race, while some of the other drivers around him might not be able to. So that's going to be something we'll have to keep our eyes on. We know that it seemed like he was maybe just on the boundary, maybe with a couple of caution flags of getting into that window. I would say that if we can go caution-free to the end of the race, that's probably me putting the jinx on it, that he might have a shot of walking away with the win here tonight, as Philip Scott in the 99 is going to drop to the inside. Just keeping my eyes on when Philip Scott last came down pit road 23 laps ago. Very similar to Jason Gracias, Spencer Tart. In fact, I think, wasn't he on pit road when that caution flag flew there, Doze, in the middle of that green flag pit stop cycle?
Yes, he was on pit road when Mike Floppy Tellier got spun around. So, yeah, as we see, Chris Darling makes the pass on Jason Gracias.
Yeah, so Chris Darling now up into 2nd. I'm wondering if Gracias might be thinking about saving fuel as well. Maybe thinking about saving tires and fuel here at this early stage of the run. Spencer Tart in the 78 machine as, well, this is going to change everything because caution flag is out once again. And I'm trying to figure out who it might have been. Getting word it's the 41 of Tony Lucarelli racing with Jason Freeman. And, a little bit of contact there between the Mason-Dixon Cornhole number 20 and the 41. Oh, man, Tristan Mayer doing a good job of avoiding that one. But that 41 machine has gone around and will be on pit road. Now, here's the interesting question about these drivers on pit road. As you can see, the pace car lights on. The field is lined up back behind that iRacing pace car. Is that number 6 machine, Andrew Himmelman, right there. I know we got Andrew Himmelman fans in the chat here tonight. He's being scored in the 18th position right now in his Chevy. What about Mike Floppy Tellier? Well, folks, this is a saving grace if you're the Mike Floppy Tellier camp. Himmelman there, once the live timing and scoring updates, will have him scored in the 18th position here in just about, 5 seconds or so. But, I'll just remove the graphic entirely. There we go. Now he's 18th. But Mike Floppy Tellier, he's 20th right now. And remember, he won the one and only stage break that we have here tonight. He picked up those bonus points for winning that stage break. And not only that, he also led laps, which also comes with bonus points. Andrew Himmelman hasn't led any laps here tonight. He has also now is being scored 10 laps down. Tellier is 3 more laps down, but is only 2 spots behind Himmelman. So if you do the math, the bonus points for Tellier, 5 for winning the stage, 1 for leading a lap. That's 6 bonus points. That is enough for him to overcome that 2-spotted deficit. But we still have to keep our eyes on those drivers like David Harvey, who granted is right in front of him on the racetrack, but is being scored up there in 5th. There is Harvey. Is Harvey enough positions ahead of Tellier that he can get in on points? So a lot of interesting questions to answer here in the final 54 laps. Hopefully we're staying on top of them. And who knows, it could end up being a dead tie, and you never know how those sort out. So definitely going to be a fun one here on 3 Wide TV in the final 50 laps or so, Doziak.
Yeah, and you can't forget, somebody could play spoiler, win and you're in. I mean, there's plenty of cars without a win still on track. Jason Gracias, David Harvey, Jason Freeman, Philip Scott. It only takes to lead one lap, and I know all about that.
Yeah, you definitely know all about leading that one and only lap. That's all you need to win a race, and what an exciting race it was to start off the 2021 Thornton Graphix Grand National Series back there at Daytona when Stephen Kegman was able to get his one and only lap led in his number 22 machine. So, those, like I said, it only takes one lap to win the race, and we'll see whether or not that comes true here tonight at Dover. It might come down to that final mile around the famed mile here up in Delaware. Trying to see if there were any takers on pit road. There were some takers on pit road. Not sure if any of those takers came down pit road to do anything but damage repair. James Lorello, the number 13 machine. Where is Lorello? He's coming back down pit road here. So a couple of late takers, and I would say Lorello here might be thinking about maybe, I'm not sure what Lorello's thinking here. Maybe thinking about some fuel strategy or something, because I don't see a lot of damage on that race car. He's being scored in 12th, so he did pick up that Max Graphics Lucky Dog Award. Maybe that's why he's coming down pit road here. But big question is he going to take tires or not when he hits his pit box here?
Yeah, racing multiple series with James. No one ever knows what James is thinking, but his strategies always play out. The only one I know who probably knows what James is thinking is Bill and Ben, his teammates in S2R.
Yeah, definitely being in the same Discord channel is often helpful if you're trying to figure out what someone's strategy might be. You see him rolling back up there onto the racetrack. Beautiful racetrack here, Dover International Speedway. You see all those grandstands wrapped all the way around the racetrack, and definitely a fun one to come to here on iRacing. As you see, the green flag is back in the flagman's hand. We're back racing here at Dover, Delaware, as they race towards turn number 1. And you see, the back half of the pack not having a great time of settling things out. With all those damaged race cars, you can definitely imagine that some of those cars are off the pace, while you got some others that are not as badly damaged, very much on the pace, and very similar to the trim that they qualified in. So, going to be fun to see how this all shakes out, but so far, clean and green. We're keeping our eyes on Philip Scott, the number 99 machine, with David Harvey running 4th and 5th.
Yeah, and I just saw on the lifetime scoring, Himmelman and Tellier are now 18th and 19th place. So that gap closed from 2 to 1 now.
Yeah, so it looks like there's going to have to be quite a bit of good luck go in the way of Andrew Himmelman. Definitely not going the way he wanted his night to go. But look at this side-by-side action just in front of this group. That's the number 70 of Chris Darling. He's on older tires on that race car compared to a couple of the cars around him. He's starting to suffer as he drops back through the pack. Jason Gracias in the number 1 machine also came down pit road. Not sure if he elected to use a set of tires or not, but he came down, maybe thinking of a little bit of fuel strategy to see if he can make it to the end of the race from here. Spencer Tart, on the other hand, your race leader, has checked out to a 1.5 second lead over the 103 of Chandler.
Yeah, Philip Scott, spoiler, on the outside looking in, up into 3rd place. David Harvey, 4th place. I mean, with 47 laps to go, it's wide open as of now.
Yeah, that it is. And just to reiterate, the point standings coming into tonight, Andrew Himmelman, Mike Tellier, they were both tied on points, but Tellier took all the bonus points from winning stage number 1. But then you have Jason Freeman, David Harvey, Philip Scott. Those 3 drivers are trying to race their way in, but Philip Scott, I mean, he would have to win to get in. He's 27 points behind Himmelman and Tellier here coming into tonight. What about Bill Edwards? Bill Edwards, we haven't really been talking about Bill Edwards. He hasn't had a great night in the number 50 machine. He was just in front of Himmelman and Tellier in the point standings. So with Bill not having a win to his name, he is in that kind of same boat with Himmelman, Tellier, Freeman, and Harvey. Although Freeman does have a win, I take that back. So Freeman, I believe, is in to the chase. Just all these permutations going through my head make it a little bit crazy to follow, but nonetheless really exciting.
Yeah, and it just popped up. Bill Edwards is 1 place in front of Andrew Himmelman and 2 in front of Mike Tellier on the live timing and scoring. So as of right now, we're still looking at floppy Tellier over Andrew Himmelman and Bill Edwards just squeaking in.
There you see the gap up at the front of the field, folks. Spencer Tart in that 78 machine, he jumped out to a significant lead, but over the last couple of laps, Harrison Chandler has been closing in the Autism Speaks Chevy Camaro. Looking at tire difference between those two, Chandler has about 10 lap fresher tires. So this battle for the race lead is starting to hot up with 43 laps to go.
Yeah, and if I'm Chandler, I do not want to see a caution right now. I have the fresher tires. I want to pass Spencer Tart cleanly and then let it play out once you get around him.
Yeah, so let's ride on board with the number 103 machine playing a little bit of catch-up right now. Onto the back of that S2R number 78 Toyota Supra as they head off into turn number 1. Just watch him jump up out of turn number 2. You see the number 78 in front of him just get light as you jump out of the corner. Then it just loads up right there through turn number 3. And then once again out of turn number 4, you watch the cars just kind of hop right there and blasting their way around the racetrack. We'll see if we can bring up that speed sound there, just to give you guys an indication in the chat of how fast this racetrack is. 145 miles an hour there through turn number 1 and 2, up to about 165. We saw maybe even break 170 right there at the end of the backstretch before they do it all again. And whoa, the 78 machine got a big wiggle there coming out of turn number 4, side by side for the race lead. Here comes Harrison Chandler trying to lead for the first time tonight.
Yeah, and looks like he's going to complete the pass here. We'll see if he can clear him coming out of turn 2. On that onboard, I did watch. It did look like Chandler was quicker in 1 and 2, but Spencer Tart seemed to pull back ahead in 3 and 4.
At least until he had that little bit of a bobble there coming out of turn number 4. Not sure if he just got loose or hit the apron or what, but that's going to give the race lead to Harrison Chandler for the first time here. So I believe that's the 6th or 7th lead change we've had here in tonight's Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150 here at Dover, Delaware. I'll bring up those last laps up there at the top of the screen so you guys can keep an eye on just how well your favorite driver is doing as these laps continue to tick away. Make that 37 laps to go here at Dover International Speedway. Been a long night. A lot of the big contenders have had trouble. It is league newcomer Harrison Chandler atop the board right now. And we've seen a couple of drivers doze come into the series and really have just kind of all of a sudden having quick success. And Harrison Chandler trying to do that here tonight.
Yeah, and you know, being a part of this league and racing, you've been covering all 3 comeback seasons, call it. We love to see, you know, it makes us drivers wanting it more, to put ourselves in these not win positions. You know, we want to be comfortable on points and not have to worry about a new league comer coming in and having to race him.
Yep, so that 103 machine might have a target on his back. Here is the number 70 machine, I believe, of Chris Darling has made a pit stop. I did see some smoke on pit road a little while ago. There is Darling. You can see up at the top of your screen. Darling has led 23 laps here tonight. James Arello led 28, Spencer Tart 25. Darling currently being scored 2 laps down with that pit stop, but he's going to just drop to the inside, work his way right around that 103, get one of those laps back, and we'll see if Chris Darling can work his way back onto the lead lap before the end of the race. You can see him using all of those Goodyear fresh tires. But, yeah, let's see if we could go through the field here and kind of figure out where everyone sits right now. Harrison Chandler is your race leader, getting up to the front. As you can see, started in 10th, has led 6 laps here tonight. What a great debut for Harrison Chandler here, walking away from the field right now up to a 1.4 second lead on Jason Freeman. If you're wondering where Spencer Tart has gone, he's dropped down pit road right now, so we will highlight that in just a little bit. Philip Scott now running in 3rd in the number 99 machine. If you're just now joining us, he will be going to participate in the regional round of the the American Ninja Warrior competition. He has qualified for the national finals before in that competition. He'll be doing so this week. So good luck to that number 99 machine of Philip Scott. We did have another taker on pit road. It was the 103 machine, so maybe they're not a great time to go through the field as we got all this action. Harrison Chandler drops down pit road, so he not one of those drivers who can make it on fuel. I was thinking maybe he was playing a little bit different strategy, but he's going to come into his pit box and pick up some tires here.
Yeah, and again, Chris Darling with the early cycle of the green flag pit stops. We'll have to see where he fans out after this. With 30 laps to go, I still do not know who's going to win this race. It's all up in the air from here.
Well, now I think the big question is going to be Jason Freeman and James Zarello. I'm going to bring up the number of laps since they last pitted up at the top of the screen. Jason Freeman, James Zarello, they both pitted 20 or so laps ago. And I want to say we saw Chris Darling earlier in the race go about 60 to 65 laps. So if you do the math, folks, Jason Freeman and James Zarello are going to be pretty close on making it to the end of the race on fuel. They will have older tires, but they're going to be pretty close, those.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, they're older tires. Are they able to save enough to fend off those late race pushes from, say, the Chris Darlings, the Spencer Tarts, the, Graciuses? What do we got shaken up here?
Well, if they can make it to the end of the race on fuel, they are in a win-win position. Why? Because they still have a set of tires on pit road. So if a caution flag does come out, they can come down and get fresh tires and not have to worry about all those other cars who just pitted, the cars that are going to have older tires at that point. Meanwhile, if they can make it to the end of the race, they don't have to come down pit road. And we have seen how brutally, excruciatingly slow this pit road is here at Dover. You lose a ton of time. You lose about 2 laps on pit road. That you can't gain 2 laps in 26 laps. You'd have to be 2 to 3 seconds per lap faster. I'm not going to do the math in my head there, but if Freeman Lorello can make it to the end, we know Philip Scott cannot, as I believe that number 99 might just be peeling onto pit road right now. Indeed, he has. And caution flag comes out. Wow. Caution flag has come out here, and trying to figure out what the caution flag has come out for. And oh no, it's a couple of contenders. The 70 and the 103 machine coming together out of turn number 2. We saw Darling lead lap. We also saw the 103 machine of Harrison Chandler lead laps, and both of those cars now tore up. Not the first time we've seen here tonight. A couple of your leaders have issues.
Yeah, another big thing is at that caution, there was 3 cars on the lead lap. So Lorello, Freeman, and I believe Philip Scott were the last 3 on the lead lap. They're going to have the freshest tires and up front. Right.
So that's kind of what I was saying. It was a little bit of a win-win for those drivers up at the front, and there's that contact. Ouch. And unfortunately for Darling, makes contact with the inside wall, comes back up the racetrack right in front of Mitchell Adams. Good job there by Adams to just squeak underneath Darling. But Darling is going to be ruined this one, another one that might have gotten away. Meanwhile, your race leaders, the number 20 machine of Jason Freeman, has yet to come down pit road. Looks like Paul Bilson is going to get one of his laps back. And indeed he will. So he's getting one of his laps back here, Doze. But he's going to be only the 3rd car on the lead lap. When we, of course, we've probably got a couple drivers take the wave around. But you know what? if you're in the number 20 of Jason Freeman, you don't have to take a wave around if you don't want to. Or you don't have to come down pit road in the number 20 machine. I mean, I'm sure he will, because I'm sure Lorello will come down pit road in the number 13 machine. But maybe pit road just hasn't opened yet. We'll wait and see if it opens this time. But we're gonna have about 20 laps to go when we go back green.
Yeah, I want to say the winner's going to come out of this group. I mean, if Freeman doesn't pit, he traps all these cars a lap down, then he's battling it out with James Lorello. I mean, you're going to have a two-horse race here.
Biggest loser with this caution flag coming out was this man right here, David Harvey, because he elected to come down. Remember, he was up there close to the top 5, and he's now being scored all the way down in 12th position in the Hisense Toyota Supra. Now, he will presumably get the lucky, or not the lucky dog, but the wave around, as Lorello's still staying out. Lorello's staying out. Jason Freeman is coming down pit road. So with Lorello staying out, all those cars that were going to get the wave around, they're not going to get waved around the pace car. But Freeman here going to get fresh tires. Lorello won't get fresh tires. At least, well, I was expecting Freeman to get fresh tires. He doesn't. So that's kind of an interesting call on the 20 of Freeman. They did have 2 sets of tires on pit road here tonight. That was the magic number. Maybe Freeman thinking this race isn't over yet. Not sure. Maybe he was short on fuel after all. But James Arella, the number 13, he's going to stay out here. And that could really, really put the race in his hands.
Yeah, back again. You know, nobody knew James's strategy. Only James. And here with 21 to go coming to the line, he's in great position.
That he is. Andrew Himmelman has lost another lap, now 11 laps down. Tellier being scored 13 laps down in his race car. They're still being scored 17th and 18th out there on the racetrack. Now David Harvey is going to be scored down in... Hey, where is Harvey for this restart? It looks like he's going to be scored in 9th. There he is. Philip Scott, 1 lap down in 8th. Mitchell Adams in 7th. We'll bring up the scoring pylon there for you on the left-hand side of your screen. Spencer Tart lap down. Harrison Chandler involved in that contact there with the number 70 machine. He's being scored 1 lap down. So there he is, actually going to be starting alongside the number 13 of Lorello. Tell me about a wonky restart here. Oh, here comes Jason Freeman. Freeman finally able to get back up to the front. So he's going to be starting out there because he's on the lead lap in that number 20 machine. As is Paul Bilson. There is your 3rd place driver right now. The 51 machine of Bilson, the butt kicker Chevrolet Camaro. We're going to have about a 20-lap shootout here, and this is a wonky one. I don't think I've seen a race like this in quite some time. We still have a long way to go. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been a part of a race where there's 2 cars on the lead lap come the final stage of the race.
Well, pace car going to head down pit road. Might it be the last time we see that pace car out there on the racetrack? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That's a question for the chat. Do you think this will be the last caution flag or not? Green flag will wave, however. James Lorello on the loud pedal. Good jump for the S2R Chevrolet Camaro. Jason Freeman in the number 20 going to drop down to the bottom right in front of your reigning series champion. The first car 1 lap down. That's Jason Gracias right there. 3rd car in line. 4th place out in the racetrack. Gracias here, going to try and get around the 20. No, he's going to drop back behind him. Of course, that number 1 machine trying to get the lap back the hard way, the old-fashioned way, if you will here. 20 more laps to go. Make that 19 more miles around the Dover, Delaware. Is that 1 machine? He's trying to get that lap back the hard way, and I think he's going to do it here.
Yeah, and Spencer Tart is right in his wheel tracks. Looks like Spencer Tart is going to gain his lap back as well.
So the only thing I could... Oh, wow. Lorello. Oh, Freeman catches the wall. My octave went up there with the number 13 almost hitting the wall, but Jason Freeman definitely kissed it. Not seeing any damage on that race car. Here comes the number 99. Philip Scott trying to get around that number 20 of Freeman. Remember, 99's on fresher tires. I don't know. This is a wacky race. Oh, there goes Philip Scott hard into the wall. Heavy contact. That's definitely going to damage the suspension of that race car and give him some aero damage. but he's going to be fighting out there. Meanwhile, here comes Mitchell Adams trying to go around the number 13 of Lorello, get himself back on the lead lap the hard way. So we're up to 6 cars on the lead lap at this moment in time. Harrison Chandler, with all that damage from that last accident, he's now trying to get around the number 13 of Lorello, and he looks like he'll do so. So, man, this is an exciting one.
Yeah, I think James is going to have to start watching in his rearview mirror. I mean, these cars on fresher tires, 16 laps to go, it might be doable.
And we're going to go 3 wide. Harvey up there on the high side. He thinks better of it. He's going to duck back behind Tristan Maher in the number 98 machine, who is being scored in the 13th position right now, 2 laps down. Not the night you were hoping for if you're a Tristan Maher fan in the chat right now. Meanwhile, you continue to see Jason Freeman lose track position and time to the number 13 of Lorello. Lorello finds himself, Philip Scott in the wall once again out of turn number 4, but Lorello finds himself up front by a second over the number 20, even though he's being just passed lap after lap after lap by all these lapped cars. And speaking of lapped cars, there goes Ben Izinga to the high side. He's 2 laps down. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the night, that your points leader, Ben Izenga, would be 2 laps down with 14 laps to go and 3 wide. Oh my goodness, your leader right in the thick of it. Morello thinks better of it. He backs out. That was a wise move for the number 13 machine.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is be the race leader and get collected with lap cars. Freeman looked like he gained some ground on that previous lap, so things are heating up here, coming almost 10 to go.
Yeah, it's about 3/4 of a second here. 12 more miles around the racetrack. Now, there's a car off still. What's going on? We didn't see it. What happened there? Let's see if we can go back and catch a replay, but looked like some car had some issue down there on the bottom side of the racetrack coming out of turn number 4. Who was it? Oh, it was the 98 of Tristan Maher going for a big slide, and what a save out of that number 98 machine. That's one that we're going to have to go back and get a closer look at here on the 3-wide TV cam. Let's remove the ticker. Let's watch the hands of Tristan Maher here with coming to 11 laps to go. The 17 got into the wall of Izinga, trying to save it. Wow, what a save there for Maher.
Yeah, even Izinga, he got the wall, the Dover dent, you could say. Both of them did.
Tristan Maher on pit road, though, after that one, so not sure if he was being shown a black flag or something for his damage. Looks like the 36 machine also on pit road. That's Mitchell Adams. So a couple of cars here, maybe with some fuel issues late on in the race, couldn't make it the rest of the way to see out to the checkered flag. That won't be good for Mitchell Adams. He'll fall 2 or 3 laps down as they run, but Lorello once again now up to about a second lead up at the front of the field. Paul Bilson and the 51 machine, as something happened to him, he is off the pace. He was your 3rd place car. My goodness, what's happened here to our 3rd place, Paul Bilson?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We're taking a look here for the replay. Looks like he just
We'll go back.
drove it down the apron.
Yeah, we'll just go back a little bit further, and Paul Bilson, engine grenaded. That was it. Paul Bilson's engine said, you know what, I can't make it 8 more miles. And you saw that puff of smoke out the back, and that is a tough break there for the number 51 machine. Your current not your current race leader, but was on the lead lap and was in the 3rd place when that all happened. Meanwhile, Jason Gracias, the number 1 machine, he just doesn't have enough time. He has the fresher tires than this man right here, Lorello, but he's still 14 seconds back. Spencer Tart in the number 78, 15 seconds back. Then the number 103, Harrison Chandler. Philip Scott there in the number 99, running in 6th. What a wacky race this has been. David Harvey there in 7th. Now, for all of you people back at home wondering about where's Mike Floppy Tellier relative to the 77 of Dave Harvey, well, right now, Tellier is in 18th. That's 11 spots, 11 points. But remember, Tellier did win that stage break and did lead a lap. So for that, we do believe Tellier will go in front of Andrew Himmelman, and we do believe he will fend off the challenges for the cars around him. Jason Freeman might be a little bit closer, but I think Freeman is locked in based off of wins, if I remember correctly. So Jason Freeman in that number 2 machine. Looks like it will be a good night for him in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole number 20. Of course, it is the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150 here tonight. We had one car coming back out there onto the racetrack. Not sure who that was. Might have been the number 40 of Jason Shue. I believe it was Jason Shue out there. But coming to 3 laps to go, Jason Freeman in second right now. Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevrolet and the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150 here in the Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. Want to give a big shout out to Thornton Graphix for jumping on board and sponsoring this series, as well as Dunn Raceway Park in Old Forge, Pennsylvania, indoor off-road RC racing. And if you think that's an oxymoron, well, go check out their website. Really, really cool indoor RC racetrack, Doze. I'd love to go out there at some point, but we have 2 laps to go.
Yeah, feel free to come up. There's about 10 of us who live, very close, who all race in this league together. So, you ever in this way, feel free to hit one of us up.
Well, that is definitely on my bucket list to go to one of those indoor RC tracks. They look really, really cool. But speaking of really, really cool, this man right here, James Arello, white flag is in the air. Final lap here in what has been a wild and zany 150 miles around the racetrack that is guarded by Miles the Monster through turn number 3 and 4. For the final time, James Arello has 3 wins to his name. Make that 4 as he works his way out of turn number 4 here at Dover, Delaware, and goes 2 in a row here in the Total Nonstop Racing League, winning last week at Pocono as well. Arello with momentum headed towards the chase. That's what you want to see if you're that S2R machine. We know he knows how to do a great burnout. Jason Freeman going to come home in second. And how about Jason Gracias, your reigning series champion there? Going to park it at the top of turn number 1, finishing in the 3rd position. I'm sure these drivers, some of them are probably very glad that tonight's race is over, but for this man, he's glad to end up in victory lane.
Yeah, Dover really showed its teeth today, and now we see why it's called the Monster Mile. I mean, it was an overall great race, a little bit cleaner than I expected. It's a very tight track, and everyone did a great job tonight.
Yeah, so we're going to see if we can get some of those post-race interviews lined up for you here while we watch the number 13 machine of Lorello burn it down here on the front stretch. Always knows how to put on a great burnout. Looks like, looks like we still got some cars out there running. Who is that? Is that Mitchell Adams, I think, still running out there on the racetrack? Yeah, it is Mitchell Adams still trying to get his laps in. He finished 8 laps down in tonight's race. But let's see if we can dial up some of these drivers. Let's see if we can start with our 3rd place finisher here tonight, your reigning series champion, Jason Gracias. Jason, Peter Short, 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Peter, what's up?
Well, man, what a crazy night here at Dover. I didn't expect this race to have that type of wild card feel to it, but it definitely did with accidents coming out on the backstretch. We mentioned to the people in the chat here tonight that backstretch is a little bit like a pinball board, where if cars start wrecking, it just is on from there. We saw that a couple times here tonight, but you were able to slice and dice your way through. At one point, looked like you were in the catbird seat, but it didn't quite pan out for you here tonight, finishing in 3rd. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Dover is called a self-cleaning track for a reason. You know, what comes up must come down on the front straightaway and back straightaway. But sucks. I love Dover. I was hoping to get a win. I think at one point I probably had the car to beat. It's just pit strategy didn't work out in my favor. I don't know what happened during that last yellow with like 50 to go, but if that caution didn't come out, I think we would have been sitting pretty.
Yeah, definitely was an interesting night, and really cautions coming out at inopportune times for a lot of the field. I mean, we had some drivers out there still running at 3-4 laps down, and drivers who really didn't have a whole lot go wrong beyond just when the caution flags flew. Kind of a wild night here, Jason, but all things considered, you're the reigning series champion. We got the chase coming up. We got some really exciting races in the chase here in the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series, starting with, well, not necessarily next week, because next week we're going to have the last chance qualifier. But, looking at the last couple of races, we got Nashville Fairgrounds. Going to be fun to see everyone at the little short track. Atlanta Motor Speedway, which has recently been redone by iRacing, and that racetrack is going to be a lot of fun here with these B cars. The Watkins Glen, the road course, Darlington, and rounding out the season at another racetrack that races a little bit like Dover, Bristol. What are your thoughts?
To be honest with you, none of those tracks really excite me, with the exception of Atlanta. So, mathematically, with the field sizes and the way my luck's been without winning, I'm pretty much eliminated from the playoff, barring somebody takes out one of the top 2 points leaders. So, I guess I'm just going for wins. We'll see. I've come close a couple of times. I've gotten some crappy luck, whether it's somebody brake checking me on pit road or turning into me, or, bring out a caution at the inopportune time. So I guess my goal is just to win out the rest of the season.
Well, there you go, Jason. At least you have a goal there, and definitely going to be fun to see what's next week. Hopefully, we have you, in the chat, enjoying a little bit of the last chance qualifier at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Definitely going to be a wild and intense race if it's anything like tonight, but definitely going to be fun. Before we let you go, Jason, any shout-outs?
Yeah, I was trying to put this car that Cosman made me into Victory Lane. It's a special car for me. ShopRite's local to Delaware, so it's one of my first shops to help me really financially establish myself. So I really wanted to put them into Victory Lane as a thank you for all they've done for me. I've moved on to bigger and better things, but thanks to Garrett putting the league together. He does an excellent job. Thanks to Billy Thornton for coming on board, sponsoring the league. Master Millerite came on, sponsors the our big block modified series. I know everybody watched Dirt Bristol and has a dirt racing itch. So if you have that itch, come race on our big block modified series on Tuesdays. Thanks to Max Graphics. He's my usual painter. He does excellent work. Make sure you go check him out at maxgraphics.co. That's again, maxgraphics.co for all your painting needs. Chris does phenomenal work for a very, very fair price. And thanks to 3YTV, Peter. You and usually Bob do a great job in the booth, but I've really enjoyed Doze, filling in. Hopefully he's the permanent sub from now on. He does a great job of making the races interesting. So, and thanks to the fans for watching. I hope we put on a good show for you guys. And if you're enjoying that, the next 5 weeks between the points leaders should be interesting to say the least.
That it will. Jason, congratulations on your third place finish here tonight in a wild and wacky night here at Dover, Delaware, and the Monster Mile. We'll see you then. All right, well, that's going to do it for our third place interview. Let's see if we can dial up Jason Freeman. I believe that Steven Doziak has caught up with tonight's runner-up in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevrolet.
Jason Freeman, it's Doze in the 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
I got you up there, Doze.
Hey, so tell us about this second place Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevy tonight.
We weren't very good most of the night, so being the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150, I figured better turn it up there at the end. But no, I just got lucky with somehow the pit strategies worked out and how the cautions fell. Some of those guys short pitted. I was going to try to run as long as I could and then just take a splash and go, and just where I ended up. It was going to be better than I was, but the way the cautions fell, I was able to put it back on the podium.
Yeah, second place in, the sponsor race, you can't complain. I'm sure you would have liked to win. I know you are a gambler on fuel strategy. It sucks to see it work out this way, but I'm pretty sure you're pleased with a second place finish on the evening.
Happy with second. Like I said, I was not very good the night, so I was probably a 10th place car most of the night, so second place is definitely a lot better than what we could have done. It would have been nice to get a win to get some bonus points heading into the chase, but we'll head into there next week. Luckily, I think we got 5th in points, and then so we locked ourselves in that way, but we locked ourselves in with that win at Kansas. Either way, we would win.
So speaking of the chase, what are your expectations coming up in these next 5 weeks with the chase playoffs right around the corner?
I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll have a decent shot at it. I mean, through the season, been some tracks that I kind of struggle at. So the tracks coming up are tracks that of my liking. The road course, not so much, but the rest of them I feel pretty confident in.
Yeah, and I know you are big into the Thursday night Road to Pro. Best of luck in that. Before we let you go, any shout outs you'd like to make?
First off to Garrett for putting on the Total Nonstop Racing League. Mason Dixon Cornhole, obviously, on the car. I also started a streaming page, Mason Dixon Racing Esports. So go give that a like, share, and follow. I haven't been too active on there lately. I haven't been too active on iRacing lately, so I got to get back into it here a little bit. But 3 Wide TV up in the booth. Billy Thornton Graphix are putting the league on, and Master Millwright for the Tuesday night Dirt Modified League.
Well, thank you, Jason Freeman. Best of luck in the next 5 weeks upcoming. I will see you out on track in those playoffs. So let the battle begin.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our second place finisher here tonight, Jason Freeman in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole 150. The Mason-Dixon machine makes a statement there, but now we're going to go down to the man who won last week. We didn't get to interview him back then, but he's able to get back to victory lane here tonight. James Varela, Peter Short, 3Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
How'd you guys?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, a wild night. Kind of crazy. We see nights like this at Dover every once in a while where things just happen very, very quickly and very quickly snowball out of control. But for you were able to get the strategy to go your way, kind of have the caution flags fall at the right times. We saw you make that pit stop there with about 50 laps to go. You came down, you topped off with fuel. And Doze and I up in the booth, we were thinking, you know what, maybe he's playing the long game here. And sure enough, looks like you were coming home with that win here tonight.
Yeah, I sure was. I thought I had, lost the race because I accidentally took my set of tires there when I refueled on the last lap. Under that caution with about 50 to go, because my plan was to run it out and then have a set left over, but I didn't have the set left over, and it just worked out somehow perfectly that there were only 2 cars in the lead lap, and I had to turn the car off into every turn and only had 0.4 gallons left there, but just barely made it.
Well, I'll tell you what, even if you barely made it, you were able to get to that checkered flag first and pick up 2 wins in a row. And of course, moving on to the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series chase here over the next couple of weeks. I talked a little while ago to the driver of the number 1 machine, Jason Gracias, about the next few races, because the first one, of course, is going to be at the Nashville Fairgrounds. That is going to be one interesting race with the short track. We haven't had it here in the Total Nonstop Racing Series just yet. It'll be its debut at the Nashville Fairgrounds for this particular championship. But then after that, we go to Atlanta Motor Speedway, which has been recently redone. I know you're very good at Atlanta. Then Watkins Glen, Darlington, and Bristol to round out the season. I also know you're really good at Bristol. So what are your thoughts over the next 5 races to figure out who's going to be the champion in all this?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really competitive, like it has been all year. Jason, both Jasons, Freeman and Gracias, and of course my teammate Ben Izanga, and I look out for everybody that's in the playoffs. I think has a chance to win a race. I'm probably most excited about the short tracks as long as I can stay clean. I enjoy Nashville Fairgrounds, though I haven't run it in this car yet. And then Bristol, of course. And then Watkins Glen is definitely my weakness, the road course. And then we'll hope Atlanta and Darlington I can put something together. But I'm excited for the short tracks that are in there for sure.
Yeah, definitely going to be a couple of nail biters, not only for you, but to everyone watching in the chat. A big thanks to everyone who watched here tonight on the channel. But James, 2 in a row, that's quite a bit of momentum going into the chase.
Yeah, I'll take it going in the chase for sure. Pocono was great last week. I had a good car today. I got lucky on kind of the strategy, but I was pretty fast. Felt like I could hang with those guys. Just missed on some of my pit stops. But this is great momentum to have. I didn't get a lot of wins early in this league, so it's good to have a couple here at the end as we head into the playoffs. Maybe I can keep the momentum as we go through them.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be fun to see, James, how that all shakes out as the season wraps up here in just a couple of weeks here on 3 Wide TV. But before we let you go, any shout-outs?
Yeah, thanks to Thornton Graphix for sponsoring the series. It's been really competitive, so I'm excited to see what the playoffs bring and you all broadcasting it. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Thanks to S2R. I'm glad we could put on a show, and I'm glad this was an exciting one. So I'll see you all next week.
Absolutely. Well, James, congratulations on the win. And, of course, no race next week for you because the last chance qualifier means you won't be in it, but it'll be 2 weeks before you're back on the racetrack here on 3 Wide TV. Best of luck.
I'll see you guys later.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for our post-race interviews here on 3 Wide TV. The next thing we're going to do is bring up those final race results, and it was James Arello taking home the win over Jason Freeman. Jason Gracias finishing in third. Spencer Tart finishing in fourth. He led a good handful of laps here tonight. Philip Scott in fifth. Harrison Chandler making his debut. It looked at one point like Harrison Chandler might have been walking away with a checkered flag in the 103 machine, but it wasn't meant to be. David Harvey finishing in seventh. In the 77 machine, 1 lap down. Stephen Kegman there in the 22. What a recovery for Stephen Kegman here tonight. I'm just surprised to see Stephen Kegman there in the 8th position, considering the fact that Angry Orchard Chevrolet was smashed up very early on in the race. Ben Izenga, your points leader, coming home in 9th, and then a 4-lap gap, folks, between the number 17 and Bill Edwards down there in 10th. And I'll tell you what, Doze, I think you've got this board here. Well, maybe not. I guess I'll continue to read through them. Jason Shue finishing in the 11th here tonight. Mitchell Adams coming home in 12th, 8 laps down. Paul Bilson in 13th. Andrew Himmelman in the number 6 machine. He's going to finish 14th. Ben Adams, Chris Darling, and Mike Floppy Tellier separate Himmelman from Tellier. And I'm getting word that based off of the way the points all shook out at the end, Mike Floppy Tellier in the number 97 machine will be racing his way into the Thornton Graphix chase on points. Yes, that's right. Andrew Himmelman will have to race his way into the chase next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway to see if he can get his way in, just missing out by a handful of points to Tellier over the season. Folks, every lap, every point matters here in the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series, and that is why, with Himmelman just barely missing out, we'll see him next week here on the channel. Tristan Mayer, Kyle Lewis, and Tony Lucarelli round out your top 20. Garrett Gleason, Colin Ullery, 21st, 22nd. Vincent Valvano finishing in 23rd. Lupe Gonzalez, Johnny Williams, those two drivers involved in early accidents in 24th and 25th. Then we got a couple of drivers who did not start here tonight. Stephen Doziak, of course, alongside me. Brian Rubel, Kyle Hall, and Dakota Knoll in 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th here tonight, with James Arello leading the most laps. But definitely going to be a fun one. Doze, you back?
Yeah, I'm back, Peter.
Well, I'll tell you what, fun one. You go to Charlotte Motor Speedway next week. What do you think we're going to see at Charlotte?
You're going to see a lot of hard racing. This is the last chance for all of us who did not make it in to make it in with only one race. So, some feelings may get hurt next week, but, the competitive and everybody, I think it's going to be a fun race, and I will be attending that race as an entry.
That is definitely for sure. So it's going to be a lot of fun here on the channel, folks. Make sure you tune in once again next week. We really appreciate everyone for jumping in. And if you haven't hit that like button yet, make sure you hit the like button now. We want to see us hit our like goal. I think we said 11 here tonight. We're only at 7. So if you're watching this on demand, make sure you hit that like button. And we really do appreciate it. But for myself, Peter Short, Stephen Doziak, and somewhere out there is Bob Giaquinto at work. Hopefully, Bob, everything's going okay. We will see you guys next week right here on 3Y TV for more Thornton Graphix Cup Series racing. Big shout out to our friends over at SimTV for the camera angles that we bring you each and every week, including what you saw here tonight at Dover International Speedway. They're really cool. Make sure you give them a like and follow on Facebook as well. But folks, have a good night, stay safe, and we shall see ya!